Have you ever met someone who keeps on making bad decisions? I think we all know people like that. It's like they go through the experience, it's negative one, and it's like they didn't learn from their experience. And so why didn't they? And I would like to say that I think experience alone is not a good teacher. And perhaps it's the reflecting upon what you learned that is that teacher that we all need. So how do we provide this opportunity for students to reflect as they're learning and growing and to support their learning and growing? Some healthy adults, we do this already. I know some people reflect through journaling. I know I'm reflecting right now through vlogging. There's friendships where you can kind of talk about what it is that you're learning, give advice to one another, small groups. These are all places where one can have that opportunity to reflect on their experiences. But many young people, they don't have that habit in place for a lot of reasons. I think one reason definitely is a go, go, go culture where, whether it's social media or television or just things are moving so quickly that there's not that opportunity to pause and reflect. And I think sometimes the educator themselves, we failed at times, and I know I have, whereas I think about all the content that I need to cover and sometimes moving from content to content without giving enough time for reflection. Also, I think sometimes if you ask a young person, like, why did you do that? Oftentimes a student might say, I don't really know. And that's because their prefrontal cortex is being developed during this time. And the habit of reflection maybe isn't as deeply ingrained in that young person's mind. And so as teachers, as educators, we have that opportunity. I'm very thankful for the Anaheim Union High School District Leadership Summit, where we had the opportunity to talk about transcendent thinking. And so what is that exactly? It's after like a time period or after a project, students have the opportunity to reflect on how they've been growing. And some of the questions that might help to elicit that transcendent thinking could include, what skills have I learned? So after they complete that particular project, if you didn't have the questions in place, sometimes like students might be, I'm not exactly sure what it is that I learned. Or they might look back and think, I don't know what exactly I learned from that class. But very frequently, they're getting the opportunity to think about what skills have they learned, how are they best learning? How is what they're learning important? How will they use that learning today and also in their future? They're having opportunities to reflect on this. Not only is it good for that class or that course, perhaps that could also be good for their schooling experience, but beyond that, it's building a habit for their future beyond K through 12. So it's very fortunate to hear some research coming out of the University of Southern California, Candle Institute. And so they found some research that when students have the opportunity to have this kind of reflection, they refer to it as transcendent thinking, that regardless of IQ, socioeconomic status, or immigration status, the person who was able to do that transcendent thinking predicted a much higher, stronger sense of identity, satisfaction in what they're doing, relationships with other people. And when you think about the purpose of schooling, I think it's a lot more than just learning content, but it is a lot of those things, right? Building that sense of who am I and where am I headed in life? And that's a big part of this channel, helping students to find out what they're good at so that they can do good with it. And so as I think about transcendent thinking, how can I create more spaces of that in the courses that I teach? So in addition, and this year what I've done is as they do a performance task or a project, let's say, they are reflecting on it. They are writing a response to how they've been growing in various ways and how they see themselves using the skills that they're learning for the future. But I'm thinking, what more could we do? And I think creating space like let's say a Socratic seminar where students have the chance to really engage not only with themselves and with me, but perhaps with one another. And as they hear from one another, oh wow, you're taking it this way, you're taking it this way, you're taking it this way, that context, and remembering that classrooms are co-constructed or can be co-constructed even more where students can maximize their learning with one another. This can create a great environment for even more transcendent thinking as they reflect upon themselves, others, and themselves with others as well. And once again, that transcendent thinking is a great predictor of some real positive outcomes that we want in our students. So looking forward to this year, this 2024-2025 year, and thinking about how to incorporate more reflective opportunities for students.